my name is Jay Kinsey. I am a judge for First LEGO League, and today I would like to share with you my FLL robot design checklist. What this checklist does is it allows a judge to quickly and easily mark different techniques and different features of a robot that they are judging. Um, Simply by circling or highlighting or marking different areas on the sheet, the judge can quickly capture what the team is doing. So we'll look at these more in depth, section by section, in later videos, but this video is designed just to give you an overview and to become generally familiar with the sheet. We have at the very top of the sheet, we have some basic information where you can write the team number, team name, the origin of the team if they're from a particular place, and then you can also mark their rank in the room if you so wish. Next is the nominations. If you feel that this team that you're judging is eligible for a nomination, you can circle that here so that when you go back to it later, you have that information. And then here we start with the electrical elements. Here you can mark the different numbers of combinations of motors and sensors the team used. For example, for the EV3, I could say here a team used 2 large motors here, and I would write a 2 in this area, and then they might have used another NXT large motor as well. So you can mix and match between parts of different generations of the LEGO Mindstorm system here. And here in the electrical elements, you can mark what combination they used. And then overall, we're looking here sort of the rest of this page is the mechanical, and then we have software and programming, and then strategy and innovation. Each one of these subcategories here has a quick rank, which is basically lifted directly from the first rubric. So this way you can actually mark down where you feel that the team fits on the actual official rubric, but you can do it all on this page, and so that prevents you from having to carry multiple pages around and go back and forth between different pages. So you can do it all here, which is pretty convenient. So you can see mechanical, we have the sections here, and programming and software and programming, we have the associated sections here, and then strategy and innovation, we have the sections here. They're a little abbreviated to save space, but if you go and you look at the actual rubric and you look at the abbreviations here, they will make sense. So moving on, under mechanical specifically, in this section we talk about sort of a overall functions and overall setups that the robot has. In the mechanical special features, this is an area where you can circle very specific features that a team decided to implement. These features tend to be more interesting, and they tend to be more difficult to implement, and so they're broken out into their own section here. For the manipulator, which would be some kind of an arm or anything that the robot uses to interact with its environment, we have this section here. The manipulator type, you can have axial joint, or sort of a forklift design, or you can have a full modular bay. You can track the number of attachments, which are things that the team puts onto the robot, and you can also track the number of detachments, which is the number of things the team pulls off of the robot. Sometimes those are the same, and sometimes those are different, so it's good to track both of them. Here we talk about different ways to attach the manipulators, how fast they can be attached, etc. And just as up here where we had the mechanical special features, down here we have the manipulator special features as well. So these are special functions which we will cover in another video, which which have more advanced features that would be good to document. This QR code which is on this page, will take you to a um, playlist on YouTube which has these training videos. So the idea is that you can take your phone, scan this QR code, and then that will bring you to this YouTube playlist where you can start watching the videos that you're watching right now. And when you do that, it's a very quick and fast way to get familiar with the sheet and see what the sheet's about without having to need a full computer with you. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always email me at jkinsey.com or jkinsey at gmail.com. So here in the software and programming category, um, we talk about general programming features here. Um, how they did motor control, optical, um, what kind of optical techniques these would, which would be for the light sensor, specific techniques for the ultrasonic sensor, gyro, and touch sensors as well. And then in the same pattern that we have before, we have programming special features, which we will also cover in another video. And then strategy and innovation is laid out effectively the same way. Here in the strategy and innovation, we track some different types of information down here. In addition to the standard rubric um, type elements, we're also tracking maximum number of points, how many times the robot leaves base, which is also known as sorties, the number of missions that they attempted, um, as well as things you can circle. Did they have for the robot design process? Did they have a book, or did they use a did they get their ideas from a book or directions? Did they brainstorm requirements? Did they have a consistent design philosophy? Did they build their robot in Lego Digital Designer before they actually set out to build the pieces in physical Lego? Did they compete designs together to see which one was the best? And so you can mix and match just by circling in this line a whole bunch of different options, which should cover the majority of FLL teams. Team data revision management is for some teams use data revision management like GitHub or SVN or something like that, where they actually check in and check out code. So that's what that's for. Here we take note of the kind of documentation that they have. Some teams will leave like an engineering notebook, and you can sort of mark and grade the notebook that they provide to you here in this documentation section. And then in the this final area here, we talk about personnel. We talk about how the team shares its workload. Sometimes the people are specialists, sometimes they're generalists. You can also track, is everybody participating? Is gracious professionalism where it should be, and things like that. So, this has just been a quick overview of the FLL robot design checklist, and the following videos will go more in detail into the individual sections and talk more about specific features.